Hello everyone, it's Kathy Champion and you're back here with me on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stamping. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located here in Gastonia, North Carolina, and I'm so glad that you have tuned in for part 4 of our gingerbread and peppermint recipe album. Now this is another signature that I have completed, and I want to explain something really quick. I got a little overzealous with this one, and this was going to be one for miscellaneous desserts, so I really filled it super full. I'm not sure if this one is going to fit. It is so thick. Now I love this, and if my spine was wider and if I had thought it out, I would have spaced my binding strips further apart, and I would have had plenty of room to put this in. But what we're going to do, I'm going to build the other 3 like this and see how much thinner this one is than this one. See, I got way overzealous. But I'm going to show you with this one. This section I dedicated to cookies. The next one we're going to dedicate it to candies. And then we're going to have one that are pies and cakes. And then, like I said, this one was to be miscellaneous. So I did add a lot to it because a lot of things can fall under miscellaneous desserts. Okay, without any further ado, what I did with this is I put my front flap on, and on that front flap I have a piece of red cardstock that I matted it. I made a pocket out of my designer series paper. I put this decorative piece back here, and I cut the word cookies out of with a die from Nothing Better Than. And I put that there because this is going to be my front page, and it's going to say that this entire signature is dedicated to cookies. So all of my cookie recipes. So when you open it up, you're going to have 2 waterfalls like this, and this is where you can put all of your cookie recipes. And see, this one is not straight. I knew something was off when I was doing this, but I ended up working on this in the living room on my little TV tray. So I should have just stayed in my craft room, but I wanted to spend some time with my husband yesterday, so I decided to do that. So anyway, as you lift these up, you can see you have a nice space for cookie recipes. So that's our front page, and then we turn it over. I did the same thing. I did a solid pocket with a piece of designer series paper. I used those pieces out of the ephemera pack, and I actually bordered them with some cardstock. I put these cupcakes, and I believe these came from Measure of Love, I think. Yeah, Measure of Love. And then when you open this pocket up, we have another place here for a recipe, and I have 3 recipes here. And then we have a pocket. We have a flap here, but I have a nice pocket where you can tuck something down. Little simple decorations on that. Another pocket here. A little flap here to stick some stuff behind. And then, okay, that's that, and that's that on the cookies. And I think that's ample room. There's 8, 9, 10, 11 recipe cards, plus you've got these tucks and places where you can tuck some recipes in. So that's what our signatures are going to look like, and we're going to make 3 like this. So I have one. I'm going to demonstrate one to you. The first thing we need to do is do our pages. So again, these are our page bases, and if you followed that cut guide that I put out initially, and it'll be also listed in the video below, you have page base 1, and this should be page base 2, but these are your page bases. So all you're going to do is take one of each. So I'm going to pull from the back because I want to leave my stickers on the front. And what you're going to want to do, and this one wasn't scored. Okay, that was the one I remember I did not get it scored, so that's not a problem. I know it's scored at 1/2 inch. And all of these measurements, like I said, is in the description below and on each one of the videos. So you should not have any problem obtaining these. So once you get this folded, and I need my bone folder because you really want to crease these little tabs down really well. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to take and add a little bit of glue. Let's see if I got my clump out of here. Now you could use two-sided tape here, your Arterin tape. You could use the Stamp and Seal. Okay, that one's not working, so I'm just going to grab another bottle of my glue, and I'm going to use this one. So put some glue along here, and then all I'm going to do is sit this even up and sit it over top of that piece. Now what I like to do is bring it up and make sure everything is lining up corner to corner, and once I know that's good, I press it down, and there is that piece. And now I'm just going to put some glue on this one, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm just going to fold this over and let it come together just like that. Now remember what I told you in one of the previous videos, your openings are always going to be to your right and your left. So always, before you glue anything else down, make sure that your glue is, or your openings are to the sides and not top and bottom. Because if you did it like this, this would not slide into our album. So these openings need to be here so they will fit over top of our little signature pieces right here. And this is what will form our pages. So always make sure those openings are to your sides and not your top and bottom. Just a nice little rule of thumb. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our flap on, and I like to put the flap, let me get one from the bottom. I like to put my flap on this way, and you'll see what I'm talking about as soon as we get this creased. So I'm going to crease that score line. And all these scores and measurements are in the description, so don't worry about getting the measurements and the fact that I'm not calling them out as we do them. They've been posted and I have gone over them before, so I don't think that should be an issue. Now that should line up perfect so it's completely even Steven. So let's put glue on this tab. Just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hold it like this. I'm going to bring this up to it. And then I'm just going to tap it against my desk and then press it. That helps me get everything nice and even. So now we have this. So I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and build the whole thing. So when you open this, our waterfalls are going to go here and here. We're going to have that beautiful little pocket on the outside here. So now we're going to turn it over, making sure that our openings are on the side, and then we're going to build our back. Now for our back, we are going to use the large flap for the back, and that is this one. And this one I'm going to put to the top, so it's going to go on just like that, but we gotta fold our score line and crease that down just like so. Give these a really good burnish because you want everything to lay as nice and flat as it possibly can. So again, we'll put some glue. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to put it together just like that and tap and press. Now if you notice, this one's a little bit shorter, but that's okay. Now remember when I told you if you want to border any of your edges, you can do that, but I'm not, because I'm going to be putting pockets and what have you. So now we're going to open this up like this, and we're going to put the small pocket right here. So the small back pocket, that's my front. Okay, not pocket, I'm sorry, the small back flap. Get all my terminology straight. All right, and you have a score line up here, so just go ahead and do the same thing we've been doing. We're going to crease that score line, get it laying really nice and flat, and then we're going to put glue on this. And I would suggest to go ahead and put each one of your signatures together, and then you can go back and do your decorating. And they don't all have to be the same. You can move your flaps around, you can decorate it in different ways, but I'm going to show you one way, and you can change this up and make it yours. Now, as I'm putting this down, I'm keeping about 1/8 of an inch on each side, right there. Press that down, and now we have this flap that opens. Oops. Get that glue pressed in there really good. Let's crease that down again just to make sure. Now this is our signature. We're ready to decorate. So I'm going to cut paper and get ready to get this one decorated so it will look more like this one, and then we will meet right back up after I get all the pieces cut, and I'll show you how I put this together with all the measurements and everything, so to make it easy for you to follow. Hey everybody, I'm going to cut in really quick right here because I am doing something. I was cutting my construction strips that are going to go on the recipe cards. Y'all saw how I built those last time, where we put the construction strip across here. That's actually 1 inch scored at 1/2 inch. I want to show you an easier way. I was cutting my strips like this into 5.5 inch pieces, 5.5 by 1, scoring at 1/2 inch. But here is a much easier way to do this. If you put your 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of paper in, let me show you on a full sheet. Let me grab a piece of, well, I had my red right here. What did I do with it? Well, just pretend that this is 8.5 across this way, and it's 11 inches this way. So put your piece of paper at the 8.5 inch width to the top of your scoreboard. Bring it over to 1/2 inch and score. Then bring it over to 1 inch and cut. Then you have your piece already done, cut and scored. All you have to do is put it back in at 5.5, just like that. Whoops, wrong one, and cut it. And then you've got your pieces already done, and you don't have to do 2 processes. Here's 2 more that I did. So I'm going to put them together, even them up. I'm going to line them up at 5.5. and give it a cut, and there is 4 more made just that quick. A much easier way than having to put this back in, line it up on the halfway mark, and then put this down and then score it. That is much more time consuming than doing the long strip, score, then cut. So put it in, score it at 1/2 inch, move it over, cut it at 1 inch, and then cut it in half. Oh, don't do that. That's not what you want to do. I just cut it instead of scoring it. But I can use that for something else. But here's 3 more pieces that I have that I didn't score, but I still got to put these back in at 1/2 inch. And this time we're going to score and not cut. So I still got to score that. And the same thing with this, whereas if I did it before, I could do it all in one scoop, one swift move, and not have to come back in. Let's see, is that on 1/2? 1/2 and 1/2. Yep. I like to bring this down middle way just to kind of make sure it's in place. It's just much easier to do it when you have a long section of paper. So I'm going to finish cutting all of this and I'll be right back. Okay, as we're continuing with our recipe book, I showed you how I put the actual signature together. Now we're going to decorate. This is our front flap, and I have it opening like this. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and put a piece of paper, and I chose the cinnamon cider, and I went and I stamped it using the Gingerbread and Peppermint stamp set and I used the ornament out of that, and I stamped it with the cinnamon cider ink to have a kind of a tone on tone, but it actually, I didn't do second generation. I did full on from the ink to the paper, and I think this is just super cute. So we're going to put this on right about here. So I'm just going to grab some liquid glue. And this front mat, you're going to need to cut 3 of these, because you're going to need one for the front, you're going to need one for the other side, and you're going to need one for here. And each one of these are 5.5 by 5.5. So you can cut down your solid paper. And the reason I am going and using this with some of the stamps, I'm starting to run a little short on my peppermint, my gingerbread and peppermint paper pad, and I want to save some of it for decorating the outside of the album. So I thought, let's go ahead and do this, and we'll use some smaller pieces to make our pockets that's going to go on here like so. So let's go ahead and work this. And like I said, the first thing I'm going to do is put glue along my edges. Just like this. And then I'm just going to put some all in the middle so I get a good stick. And then I'm going to pay attention to my borders because I want about the same amount all the way around. Then I'm going to press that down. Give it a minute for that ink to adhere. Now I have this little piece of Designer Series paper, and this piece is 6 inches by 2.5, and I scored it 1/2 inch all the way around. So that will give us a nice little pocket. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper snips, and I'm going to snip. Let's see if we can see it from this side. Yeah, I can see it from this side a little bit better. I'm going to snip to here, and then I'm going to come over on this side and snip up to that mark. And that piece will just come right out. Then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to angle cut up to that dot, or where the lines cross. And then I'm going to do the same thing right here. Just snipping that away. And then we'll have this pocket that we're going to close up, just like that. And it's going to go down on here, right about there. But before we glue it down, I want to take my little 3/4 inch circle punch, and I'm going to punch a little thumbnail about like that. Looks pretty good, don't y'all think? I think that's about halfway. So that gives us a little, just a little bit, and we're going to set this down kind of to the bottom, but I want just a little bit of those ornaments to show up underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue along here and there. And then I'm going to sit this down right about here, making sure I got the same amount on both sides, the top and the bottom, nice and even. And this gives us a nice little pocket. Now I love doing the gussets on the pockets like this because it gives you more of a gap. So I don't want to pull on that too much until it's nice and dry. I am going to use my bone folder just to kind of smooth out that glue and get a good adhesion. So once that's done, I have one of these little ephemera pieces that came out of our Memories and More ephemera pack that goes with this beautiful gingerbread and peppermint, and we're going to put this piece right about there. Now see how pretty those ornaments are kind of framing around this piece. So what I'm going to do now is out of Nothing Better Than, I cut the word chocolate, and I'm going to put chocolate right across there like that, and I cut out of that same thing, I stamped in Old Espresso just the chocolates, and I stamped it on the cinnamon cider. So this is going to go, let's do it right up underneath it. So we're going to put chocolate down first, and I'm going to hold this in my hand and just very strategically put some glue all around. just like that. And then I'm going to very gently bring this over, and I want that to go almost across that section, but not to impede my words, memories in the making. And then we're going to sit the chocolates right about there. And the reason I'm putting everything up is this is going to kind of tuck down into that pocket, so I don't want the chocolates and the word chocolate to be hidden. So I'm just going to put that down right there, give it a good press, and now this can go in about like that. And if you had another stamp, you could do candies if you had that. I have not searched my stamp sets to see if I have candy, but this signature is going to be all of our candies. So I thought chocolate, and that says candy, so I'm going to go with that. So I'm going to put glue on the back of this. And then I'm going to tuck this down right in the middle, and I'm using that thumbnail kind of as my guide. And then I'm going to press that down, and there we've got that page completely done. So now we're going to open it up, and I told you that we needed to cut 3 pieces. That was the 5.5 by 5.5, and here's my 2 green pieces. This is Old Olive, and I'm going to glue these in just like this. Now if you wanted to go back and do some stamping on these, you most certainly can, but these are going to be covered with our recipe cards. So I thought, since we're going to be covering them with recipe cards, I really don't think we need to stamp them, but it's totally a preference. You can put as much work or as little work as you like into a book like this. So I'm going to bring this over, and I'm going to run a bead of glue. Now you can use whatever adhesive you like. If you want to use some dry adhesive, or if you like to put things together with tearing tape or Stampin' Seal, you feel free to use the adhesive of your choice. So I'm going to put this one down just like that and give it a good press. And then I'm going to iron it out. This is just one of those little things that I like to do with my cardstock when I'm using liquid glue. I think it just gives it a much nicer, neater look. So I'm going to do the same thing with this piece. I'm going to run glue. And all the measurements for this will be in the description below. So for all these mats, I will have them listed. So let's turn that over and sit it down. And what I'm trying to do is get this nice and even, and I want these to kind of match. You know, the same across the top and the bottom and in the middle. And that looks really nice. So now I made 8 of these because we're going to put 4 on each side. So I need to decide which ones I want to put where. So I want these are the ones I haven't put any decorations on yet, and these ones I have. So let's do measuring cups, spatula, and these are going to line up just like that. And then we'll do mixing, well, maybe we'll do mixing bowls on the top. I love those bowls. Yeah, let's do mixing bowls, and then, all right, I'll tell you what, let's just start gluing them in. That might be the best way to do this. So let's do our first one, and we're going to put it right here at the top, and you want to bring it over this way as to your left as far as you can without impeding over top of this outer edge. So I am going to Well, you know what? I'm going to line it up even with this paper. And I think the reason I do that, maybe this will give us a little bit better chance of getting everything lined up nice and straight. The good thing is everything is 5.5, so it should fit perfectly. So 5.5 across. And let's put that one down. Push it all the way up to your top. Hold it. My bone folder, and I'm just going to run that across there to make sure everything is adhered. Then we're going to grab our next one, which is going to be the the little whisk. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to butt it right up to that one, but not over it. Just like that, making sure that we're covering that green cardstock. So again, I'm just going to put glue. Just like that. And then I'm going to butt it right up to that one. Press that down. Making sure everything is lined up. And then I'm going to double check and make sure that's lining. Looking good. Press that down. Use your bone folder. And make sure you get a nice, good seal on that. Just press it down. See, that little bit of extra glue will come oozing out, but that assures that you're getting a nice seal all the way under. So there's 2. Now we're going to do the measuring cups. And now we've got this one with the spatula, and I'm going to test it to make sure that this is going to fit to the bottom. Now it looks a little wonky right here, so I'm going to trim that off, I think. Or either I'm just going to come up. I think I'm just going to come up on top of that one, because you want these to always come even to the bottom. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to come up onto the top of that other construction strip. So this time what I'm going to be paying attention to is the bottom of my recipe card. So I'm going to hold it right there, and then I'm going to fold that piece back and set it down and press. Oops, that one wants to move because it's trying to go up on the hump. So open it up, take your finger and just press it in. And I've got glue all over my fingers, y'all. You know how it is when you're making something like this. You are just covered in glue, if you're like me at all. So there's that waterfall, and we're going to do the same thing over here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these in, and then when we come back, we'll turn it over to the back, and we'll start working on our back piece, and then this will be a done deal. We'll be right back. So now I have everything together. We have our front. I have our waterfalls in here with enough of room for 8 recipes. Now if you wanted to, you could put another recipe card here, but because I couldn't do the directions, I chose not to. You may want to put a pocket under here where you could tuck some stuff in. I didn't do that because I didn't want to make this any thicker. This is going to be pretty thick coming together like that. So I'm turning it over now to my back, and I've got little gummy amounts of glue, so let me just kind of wipe off my surface. And now we have this flap that raises up and this one that folds out. So what we want to do now is look at our back of this one, and I did a pocket here with a piece of decorative paper. I did one of my little ephemera pieces here, again another little pocket with some cupcakes on it. And I think what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to go back into my paper, and I am going to pull a piece of cardstock. That one's cute. Let's see what else we have. I love this one too. This one's really pretty. Let's decorate this one. So we're going to cut this one down also like that. So I'm going to get my trimmer. And we're going to go to 5 1/4. by 5.5. And save your little strips because you might be able to use those for decorative pieces somewhere else. So now we are going to put this on here. Just like that. Isn't that gorgeous? I think I like it like that. So we're going to glue that piece down, and then we're going to use either a solid green or red. I think I'm going to go with the green. I love the green. I think since this one has kind of taken on the green, I don't know though. I think we might need some red. And maybe we'll do some red back here. So I'm going to put this piece down like this. And we're going to get this nice and centered on here. Just about like that, and then give it a good press. Do my little ironing technique, and at this point you might want to lay this out so you can get to it without it being on the hump of all of what we got going on the front. So now we need to put something here. Let's do this piece right here, and that piece is going to be the same measurement. So it's going to be 5 1/4 by 5.5. So I'm going to drop my pen back in my glue, and I'm going to go ahead and cut the pieces I need to finish this, and when we come back we'll put this all together and we'll have this signature made. We can start putting our signatures in our album, and then Friday we can actually finish this album up and we can call it done. Won't that be great? Love you guys, and I'll be right back. Okay everybody, I am back, and this is our middle section that we finished a while ago. So there is our front, and when you open up that flap you have the waterfalls here, and I thought these turned out really nice. You have got, oops, did I not put the, oh no, I didn't put the direction sheet on some of these. I'm going to go back and stick my direction sheets on. Let's go ahead and put another direction sheet right here. And again, I'm going to use this, get my little drink pack of stuff out of my way. I've recently, I've always been a soft drink-aholic. Pepsi is always my drink of choice. And I know they're not good for you, and with all the bladder and kidney problems that I've had recently, I really wanted to find a different thing that would work for me. So I discovered seltzer water because I love the carbonation. I think it was more carbonation than it was the actual soft drink. But I do like sweet. So I found, this is from a local grocery store in my area, Harris Teeter. This is just a plain seltzer with a little lime flavoring in it. It has nothing in it. There's absolutely, I mean, it's 0, 0, 0. It's basically just carbonated water with a little essence of lime, which makes it absolutely wonderful. And I found these Starburst cherry drink packs. I don't know if y'all ever had a cherry limeade, but they are delicious. So these are sweetened with sucralose, which is like a Splenda, and I've been putting this in my drink, and you can't put it in there and shake it like you would a regular bottle of water. So I get my ice in my cup, I pour a little seltzer water in, and I sprinkle about half a pack of one of these in, and then fill it the rest of the way up with seltzer water and stir it. And I have a delicious drink that I have found very refreshing, and it's satisfied my my need for my Pepsi, which I think is wonderful because, you know, I've drank them for years and I know they're not good for you. And with my health scares recently, I just felt like I didn't need to be putting anything else in my body that wasn't good. So thought I would drop that in case anybody else faces my dilemma. All right, we've got those done. I'm glad I went back and looked because I really wanted these all to be completed. So we have 8 places here to put recipe and directions, which I think is wonderful. So to close that up, and that's our front. Now we're going to flip it to the back. And I got a little overzealous and I did put my paper down. I think y'all might have been with me when I did that. And on this side, I want to do, let's see, this right here. I've got some little ditties right there that I'm going to put on here. So this is going to be our pocket. This is going to kind of emulate this one that I had for my first signature. And I'm going to bring this down to about here, and I'm going to glue that down. And I've got this little ditty that I want to put in, and I just want to put it to where those Christmas trees are peeking out of that thumb, the little thumb hole. So I like the way that looks. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to draw myself a faint line right there. And as long as I come down and cover that line, I know that I'll be good to go to put this on. So again, I'm going to take some liquid glue. Now before I push it down, I want to make sure my Christmas trees are where I want them. That looks good. So I am going to open this up. Oops. So I can get this to lay flat, and I'm going to press that down. Grab my bone folder and give that a good, just a good press. Then I'm going to come back with this, and I made this little pocket, and this little pocket was 6, I think it was, 6.5 by 2.5. And all I did was scored it on 3 sides, punched a little thumbnail with my little punch right there. And y'all been watching me do this throughout the album, so I don't think that this is going to be anything new to anybody. And I'm going to bring that right down to the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and put glue here and here and here, just like that. Come down a little bit more. There we go. And give it a press. Now I want to decorate this just a little bit because I feel like it needs a little pizzazz. So I stamped out "Sending You Peppermint Kisses," and this was in the frosted gingerbread. This is this little sentiment right here. And I also stamped out and die cut these little peppermint candies. And when you use the stamp and the dies, this is what you get. And look how stinking cute these are. And I'm going to put 3 on each side of that. And then I'm going to do 3 over on this side. Just like that. And we're going to put a little glue down, and we're going to glue those right onto there. Just to kind of jazz it up a little bit. Give us a little bit of just some pretty. And then if you get any ooze of glue, just wipe it off and press, press, press. And then that page is done. Alright, so that is that back flap that goes up. Now I went ahead and put, because I only needed to put 3 recipe cards on this flap. And we're going to put something decorative here. I haven't decided what just yet. But let's go to here. On this page, I did cut a piece of, let's make sure I'm getting it going the right way. Okay, it goes this way. And this was cut at 5.5 by 5 1/4. So 5.5 by 5 1/4, and we are going to put that on just like so. I love that paper. Isn't that so cute? So I think for this I'm going to go ahead and put some seal right across there and across here. And let's see, was it like this? Yeah. So I'm laying out so that my margins are about the same on side to side, top to bottom. Press that down, just like that. And now I have one of these little ephemera pieces, your sugar and spice and everything nice. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did in this one. On this one I did, I glued it down on 3 sides, and it's just a place to tuck some pre-cut recipes in there. So we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to glue here and here. So on the outside edge, that'll be your left-hand side across the bottom. And then all I'm going to do is press this over in this corner. A very simple way to make a pocket that's just a nice place to stick stuff under. It's basically almost like a little paper clip. So now over here, I did cut a piece of my red, real red cardstock. Let me measure this mat. It is 4.5 by 4 3/8. So 4.5 by 4 3/8. And we are going to put a pocket here. And I think for that I'm going to do, let's see, can't remember which one I wanted to put over here. Okay, maybe this one, or do I want this one here? Okay, we are back, and I think I'm going to put this one right here, and I have a little piece of red paper that I want to bring down just to kind of border the bottom so that it has the feeling that we have a two-tone paper. We have the green up here with the white and red dots, and then we have a little peak of red down here. So all I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to put some glue on it, and I'm just going to press this right down to the bottom, just enough to cover so you can't see any of that green popping out. And these were scraps. This was a scrap, this was a scrap. What I decorated this envelope with was a scrap. So you really, at this point, when you're getting down to the end, use as many of your scraps as you can, because that makes your album cost effective, and it also allows you to use up some of those beautiful scraps that you had left over. So now I'm going to bring that up to about there. And if you notice this piece, I scored around the edge. I don't know if it's picking it up, but I did like 1/8 of an inch score all the way around, and then I inset my peppermint right there. So I'm going to put this right about there. So all I'm going to do is turn it over. This is another one of those pockets that we had, and all we did, we folded in, we scored 1/2 inch on each side and the bottom. I angle cut out my little triangle so that it will fold together really nice. And I also used my punch to make a little thumbprint right there. So now I'm just going to do some glue along there and the bottom and the sides, so everything looks cohesive. So you want to get about the same amount on the bottom as you have, and try to make sure your sides are lined up so that they look really nice and even. So then you just want to press that down, press it, and now we can open this up. And on this side, we have another one of those pockets. Now this one's a little bit deeper. This one measures 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. And again, I scored it at 1/2 inch on each side and bottom. Used my little punch and punched out right there. And we're going to use another one of the ephemeras. Or, no, I have a better idea. I have, what did I do with it? These little pieces right here that stick on, we are going to use some of those, but this would be cute too. Oh, that's so cute. Let's see if the pocket will come down far enough to the bottom for us to get that tucked in there, and I don't know that it will. No, I'm going to save that. I'm going to use one of these stickers, and I also want to use some of these little snowflake stickers. I know these are supposed to be cookies, but we're going to call them snowflakes, and we're going to put some of those around. But the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I get my pocket down first, just like that. Again, glue on my side pieces. And this piece. And across, oops, across my bottom. And I might have got glue on there, but that's okay. Just wipe it off. And I'm bringing that right down to the bottom and press it up and over and up. Love these little pockets. They come in so handy for just sticking things in when you are. And then I need to decide, merriest Christmas or your friendship makes the season sweeter. And I think I want to use this one. I think it will show up better. And we're going to put that right there at the top. And these all came in that gingerbread, what is it? What was it called? The that ephemera pack. It wasn't called ephemera. It was called Gingerbread and Peppermint Memories and More card pack. Such a great buy because you can do so much with that one little pack. And so many things come in there that is just, I mean, it's absolutely adorable. So I'm going to put a snowflake there and maybe one up here. And these are just stickers, so it makes it really easy and fun. Let's see. It makes it really a lot of fun just to decorate by having stickers that you can just stick down. And I think that one's going to be right there. I like that. So now that's done. This is done. This needs something. And I am thinking maybe one of these little pieces here. And now I'm going to turn this one around and I'm going to put it right here. And this is nothing but just to add a little something extra. And if you want to, if you're so inclined, you could stamp or you could cut out something else and put on there. But you know what? I don't want to do an overkill. I think I'm going to leave that as it is. So let me put my pen back in my glue before I have a mess here. And once I get that closed back up, then I think we're ready to do a flip through. So let's go to the front. This is going to be the front. I have two signatures now. I have chocolate and cookies. So this is going to be for candies and this is going to be for cookies. And as you can see, they're both identical. So when you fold them out, these all flip up. Now I will tell you, and it's like this with anything you make, my second one is much better than my first one. So if you're making this album, you might want to take some cardstock that you don't care too much about and practice first, and then wait and save your good cardstock for when you're actually ready to make it. Because look how much easier these turn up. And again, like I said, if you wanted to put a pocket under here or some little something, you could use one of these and put that there. You could decorate it with some more of these. However you want to do it, it's totally up to you. Like I said, make this yours. Then when we flip this over, we then can flip this up. We have a pocket, flip it out, another pocket, we have a slide place here to put something, and we have 3 more recipe cards, and we could also decorate right here. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can decorate this. So, but that is our 2 signatures that we've gotten made. And Friday I will have the third one, and my third one is going to be cakes and pies, or pies and cakes. I bake more pies than I do cakes because pies have never been my strong suit. Did I put? No, I didn't have anything in that one. Maybe it was this one. I thought I had stuck something inside of one of these. Nope, not that one. Definitely not that one. Okay, maybe not. I thought I had stuck something inside. But anyway, I think this is so cute. The fact that we can make something so beautiful that can come together. And these signatures are going to go into our album. And y'all remember, I still have that big one I still have this huge one that I did, and this is going to be for miscellaneous desserts. I wish I hadn't have put cookies there. I might try to take that up, or I may just print out the word miscellaneous and put miscellaneous right there, because this is going to be a hodgepodge of all different kinds of desserts. And I really loaded this one up with mats and flip outs, and I mean, it just goes in all different directions, and more and more and more. And then when you turn it over, it just flips here. And I mean, I just have things flipping every which way in this one. And that's that pecan pie recipe that I definitely want to try. So don't want to lose that. So here we go. We have all of this completely done, and with 3 of our signatures are ready to go in. So when we get ready to do these signatures, I am going to do cookies in the front, then candy, then my pies and cakes, and then the miscellaneous. So I'm going to show you how I would go about putting these on. Real quick before we go any further, I'm going to put 2-sided tape, or my tear and tape, on both sides of these flaps. Excuse me, I think I've been talking too much because I definitely have a frog in my throat. Grab me a sip of my seltzer water, and I am going to lay those flat like that, and I'm going to take my tape and I'm going to run it right to the edge and all the way to the end. And I'm going to use my little piece to trim that off, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to put another piece close in. This will overlap the other one, but that's okay. We're going to need these to be super strong. And I'm going to tear that off right there. Then I'm going to bend that back, and I'm going to come in close to that score line and put this piece across. And then we're going to put this one, oops, right about here. I'm letting that one come off the end a little bit. It's okay. Tear that right there. Now this may be an overkill for some of you, but again, this is where a lot of the stress is going to be on our book, and it has to hold in those pages, and those pages are heavy. So I'm going to trim that off right there. And I'm going to burnish this down with my bone folder. And then I am going to use my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to lift this up. Make sure that's on there really good. Maybe we'll take the one under first. Let's see if that one will come up better. Yeah, that's better. Take up the one that's underneath first, and then you should be able to lift this one right up. Just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. And again, I'm pulling that one that's under up first. Just pull that out. And then right here. And pull that out. And I'm going to go back with some liquid glue. And I am going to put an amount of liquid glue on both of these for 2 reasons. Extra hold and to give myself some wiggle room. Okay. So I'm going to turn it around this way so I can bend it this way and get glue on here. And now that we've got that on there, we're going to open up our pocket to where our in between our tunnel is. See, it's like a little tunnel. And I'm going to hold that tunnel like this. I'm going to put 2 fingers in there and gap it open. And then I'm going to use my other hand to hold this piece up. And I'm going to have to do it sideways. So I'm going to try to stay in the camera so y'all can see what I'm doing, because this is crucial. And I'm opening that pocket right there, and I want to sit that down right on top of that piece. Once I know that it is in there, just like that, then I'm going to press it down and squeeze it. Squeeze it really good and tight right up against that book. That is your first page in. I mean, how simple is that? So we have our first page in. I don't want to put any stress on it because I want it to have time to adhere. But I will put in the second page, and then we will wait and put our third page in, and then decide if we need to make a fourth page for miscellaneous that's not quite as thick as this one. So if we can do that, but our next one that we will put in, and we'll put this one in right here on this this little flap right here, and it will go in the same way that one did. And look how stinking adorable this book is going to be once we get everything together. I love it. I hope y'all are loving it as much as I am. Once we get all of our signatures in, we are going to decorate front and back. And the front of this, we're going to do our spine. And I think the back, I may just leave clear. And then we'll decide if we need a closure, and we'll go from there. Love you guys so much. Thank y'all so ever much for tuning in, for being a part of my crafty family. I love you so much, and as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. So until we craft again, God bless and keep you. Love you much. Bye-bye.